Hi everyone, welcome to this card making tutorial. Today I'm going to be making a card using the Anna Griffin Say It Anyway stamps. In the stamp kit you get circle and square and written sentiment. I'm going to be using one of the circle rubber stamps. I'm also going to be using one of the layers from the Nifty nested layer kit. These are 12 by 12 card which all separate to make different layers. I'm going to be using the central layer, not the centre sentiment, the next one up, and I've already taken it out of one of the layers and it's there. So I'm going to be using that. I'm also going to be using a 7 by 7 card, and then I've cut 2 layers to be able to put onto the card already. From the rubber stamp kit I've used the sentiment that says you have a special way of making the world a better place. I've already stamped that and I've inked the edge using an Anna Griffin burgundy ink pad. I've die cut the circle together with another 2 circles to make a matten layer for my card. The circles were cut using the press cut die kit of circles, and they go up to 8 inches in the pack. So I've already done that. The other thing that I'm going to be using, I've already made 4 rosettes from the Tim Holtz rosettes kit. So I've done those already in Anna Griffin paper. Now it's all contrasting paper, but it does all match because of the tones in the paper. So what I thought we'd do is put it all together and you can see the finished effects. Just to save a little bit of time, I've gone round the edge of my matten layers for the base of the card with an ink pad. It's one of the Anna Griffin green ink pads, and it's a little bit different to the Tim Holtz pads from Ranger because this is more of a felt pad rather than a foam pad, and I'll show you the difference. When you're using one of the sponge pads like this, you can press your paper into the ink pad and you can have a very controlled manner as you go along your paper, which will enable you just to do the edges without going in to your paper. Another way of inking is pulling down on the edge of your card, but if you're using card and you press it in, it will only go a certain way deep into the ink pad, which basically means you can get the same coverage all the way around the edge of whatever you're inking up. Unlike blending or using the Ranger ink pads or a solid ink pad, this means you can go direct ink pad to card or paper, whereas if you're using a blending technique you would blend on and then it's more of a free flow than controlled. So I've used the Anna Griffin green ink pad to do the edges on all the card and paper, just so it tones in and you get a little bit of depth from it. I'm going to start off by putting the 2 base layers on my 7-inch square card, and I'm using a tape runner for this just for speed. So I'll add a little bit of tape on the first layer, make sure I've got it the right way up and pop that onto my card like so. The second layer, again, I've already inked the edge to save a little bit of time, and this is going to be another flat layer on top of my card. So I'll just add some tape on that, make sure I've got it the right way up, and there, we can see the layers now on the card. So next I need to find out where my doily is going to sit. I'm going to call it a doily rather than a layer because it is so pretty and I think it warrants the name doily. So it's roughly going to be going there, so I know that my rosettes need to sit in all four corners on top of where the doily is going to go. Now, just so I've got a little bit of movement on the doilies, I'm going to use a wet glue rather than a dry glue, because that means I'll be able to have a little bit of time to position them. So I know that they're going to go in all of the corners, so I'll put them on like so, roughly where I think they need to go. Then I'm going to take my doily and I'm going to add glue around the edge like so. This will catch on top of the rosettes rather than having it loose and adding foam pads. So that can sit on top of the rosettes like so, and I think I've actually put them in quite a good position to begin with. So we'll just press that down so it takes hold, maybe about 10-15 seconds, just so it adheres to the paper or the card, and then we can carry on with our next layers because we're starting to build the card up nicely now. You can see where the rosettes are sat on top of the doily, underneath the doily, and so we've just got the centre now to build up. So first of all, I've got one of the flat layered circles and I'm going to add glue, again wet glue, just around the edge like so. Make sure I've got it the right way up and I want it quite central to the card like so. Now next I've got my stamped image that I'm going to put flat onto the next layer, because on the next layer I've already put 3D foam, because that's going to sit proudly onto the circle below. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to this like so. This layer here, because I've added wet glue to it, it'll be a firmer hold than the actual tape, and that's what, with there being a hole underneath, that's what I wanted, because the glue will harden as it sets. So I'm just going to place the top sentiment stamped circle over the flat layer like so, and then I'll peel off the back of the 3D foam like this and place it over the centre, making sure I've got the sentiment in the right place, central, like so. So that will sit nicely there. It's all starting to dry with the glue. Now the last thing, I've made a flower for the centre of my card in matching paper. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the centre of that and pop it in the middle. There we go. And I think that's finished. So you can see the layers of the rosette and the layers of the centre with the sentiment on, and your little flower in the middle. And I really hope you've enjoyed this card tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. See you again another time.